Listen, that's the sound of rain. It's falling on the city rooftops, on the empty streets, on your windows ill. It's swashing away the dust, and it almost feels like an invitation to gently let go of the day's noise. Tonight, let's go somewhere special, a place that only exists on the edge of midnight and dreams. Close your eyes, follow the sound of my voice, and let's go to that 24-hour laundromat of lost time. Ella felt like a crumpled piece of paper. This wasn't a metaphor. It was a real, physical feeling. Her shoulders were stiff and sore from 12 hours, hunched over a computer. Her eyelids so heavy it took willpower to keep them. Filtering through the wet neon lights of the city night, cast twisted, colorful shadows on her face, like a wound that would never heal. The rain fell tirelessly, the sound of it drumming on the roof mixing with the endless white noise in her head. Unanswered emails, unfinished reports, unresolved conflicts. Right here at the corner is fine, thanks, she said, her voice raspy and unfamiliar, even to herself. Take it out. Icy raindrops immediately found their way down her collar, making her shiver. She'd forgotten her umbrella. Or maybe some part of her didn't want to bring it. She needed this cold shock to confirm she was still alive, dragging her leaden feet toward her apartment building. She stopped short at the familiar corner. Since when was there a laundromat here? It was wedged between a long closed flower shop and a brightly lit convenience store, quiet in a way that felt out of place. The shop window was fogged up, but she could just make out rows of neat washers and dryers inside, glowing with a warm, yellowish light. The sign was simple, made from fluorescent tubes, spelling out 24-hour laundry. No fancy name, but it drew her in like a magnet. Maybe she just needed a warm, dry disturbed place to sit for a moment, even just a few minutes, an escape from the rain falling inside her heart. She pushed the door open, a wave of warm air, smelling of disinfectant, fabric softener, and warm laundry, wrapped around her. The air inside was quiet, filled only with the low hum of running machines, like a herd of gentle steel beasts sleeping. The lights weren't harsh like the convenience store-esque, but soft with a slightly yellowed OLD photo quality. The tea-led floor was spotless, reflecting her utterly exhausted figure. There wasn't a single other customer, just an old man sitting on a chair in the very back, reading a newspaper quietly under the light, wearing reading glasses. He heard the door chime, looked up and gave Ella a gentle nod, as if her arrival was the most natural thing in the world. His eyes were calm, like a deep steel well. Ella found a corner spot by the wall and sank into it, burying her face in her hands. The scenes from the day started playing back uncontrollably. Her boss's harsh criticism, the co-worker shirking responsibility email, the boyfriend she'd had to cancel on, again, because of work, who finally ended things over the phone. Each frame was like a little knife, putting a new crease in her heart. Some wrinkles then take it, smooth it out, just by thinking. A gentle voice spoke beside her. Ella jumped, looking up to see the old man with the newspaper. He had walked over at some point, holding a small basket with a single, lonely coin in it. Try this one, he said, handing her the basket and pointing to a particular old-looking washer nearby. It didn't have the shiny digital lights of the others. It had a heavy, cream-colored enamel body and is lightly worn. Mechanical dial. The coin slot was brass, gleaming faintly under the lights. It's quite good with special loads. Ella was stunned. Special loads. Did he mean her terrible mood, soaked through with rain and tears? She meant to refuse, but looking at the old man's unwavering, mysteriously compassionate eyes, she found herself taking the coin. It was heavy, cool to the touch, and engraved with patterns she'd never seen before. Unlike any currency she knew, she walked over to the ancient washer and pulled open the round glass door. It was empty inside, clean. She hesitated then. She put herself in not her body, of course, but in her mind, she imagined all her weariness, her resentment, her anger, and her sadness as an invisible, unbearably heavy piece of dirty laundry, and stuffed it all into the drum. Then she dropped the heavy coin into the slot. Clink, a clear resonant sound, unusually sharp in the quiet laundromat. The machine whirred to life. There were no settings for her to choose, no water level or temperature. The dial turned, slowly by itself, with oscillate click. Then, the sound of water, warm water, gently filling the drum, enveloping her invisible load. Then, the drum began to turn, slow at first with a heavy sodden sound, as if it really was agitating. A waterlogged wait, but then something strange happened. As the drum completed its first full rotation, the scene from today that had humiliated her, the morning meeting were her. Boss public lie questioned her competence, her flustered, Saint Umbling attempts to explain this image in her mind suddenly began to blur. The details were fading, her boss' angry face, the colleagues' sympathetic or smug looks, her own burning embarrassment and pounding heart. All the sharp edges were being gently smoothed away, carried off by the warm water and the rotating force. Finally, all that was left was a neutral, emotionless fact. I had a morning meeting. Her eyes flew open wide, staring at the machine in disbelief. The drum kept turning. Second rotation. That email from the afternoon, that made her shake with anger. Its contents rapidly faded in her mind, leaving only the fact. I received a work email. Third rotation. Her boyfriend's cold, final words on the phone earlier, like tape being erased, the sound distorting, dissolving, finally falling silent. She only remembered. We talked on the phone. This wasn't a laundromat. It was a memory cleaner. A mix of fear and tremendous temptation gripped her. What if she could wash away all these awful memories from today? Wouldn't that give her a brand new, light, wrinkle-free tomorrow? This was like God opening a secret back window just for her. Someone who'd worked herself to collapse. She stared intently at the machine, like a person dying of thirst seeing an oasis. She watched the drum turn, once, twice, 3 times, the tiny annoyances, the crowded subway, the terrible takeout, the water glass she accidentally knocked over. These specks of memory dust were the first to be cleaned away, vanishing without a sound. Then some slightly bigger memories. The boring small talk with a coworker at lunch, the brief afternoon slump, the cute stray cat she saw on her way home. These neutral, even slightly pleasant memories didn't serve either, swept away by the powerful current, as if they never existed. Her mind was getting lighter, emptier. That feeling of being torn apart by countless thoughts was indeed easing, but at the same time, a strange sense of EMP began to spread in her heart. Time lost its line in the hum of the washer. She didn't know how long it had been, only saw the dial's pointer slowly, steadily moving toward the end, point marking the end of the cycle. Just as the pointer was about to reach the end, ready to sound its final ding, one last memory fragment surfaced in Ella's mind. It was early this morning. Before dawn, she pulled an all-nighter for an urgent project. Outside the window was the city's steepest blue, black, the office lit only by her screen and the sound of her keyboard. She was exhausted beyond belief, her temples throbbing, her eyes dry and burning. She stood up to get some water, nearly Saint Umbling from dizziness, leaning against the wall. In that moment, a pure, unadulterated tiredness, free of any specific emotion, washed over her like a tide. It was in self-pity, not anger, not resentment, toward anyone or anything. It was just the most primitive, naked exhaustion left behind after her body and soul had been overdrawn to their limit. This fragment was so clear, so strong, and in that moment she suddenly understood, washing away the anger, washing away the resentment, washing away those specific hurts. That might be a relative, but if she washed away the tiredness too, then who would she be? This exhaustion, these wrinkles left by the struggle of life, this lone lenses of walking, home alone after working late, this effort of forcing herself to face the world. They weren't just scars, they were also proof that she was trying to live, marks that she existed. A blank piece of paper only gets its unique story and texture after it's been written on, crumpled up, and smoothed out again. If a piece of paper stays perfect lie, smooth and clean forever, how is it any different from never having existed at all. No, she whispered almost without thinking. In the very last instant, before the dial could reset, she practically threw herself at the machine, yanking open the glass door with all her strength. Screech! The drum let out a piercing screech and jerked to a halt. The internal hum died out. Abruptly warm, moist air mixed with that strange, clean fragrance hit her face. Inside it was empty. No water, no bubbles, no imagined heavy dirty laundry. But she could feel it. Something was different. The sharpest pains had been washed away. They weren't like needles jabbing her nerves anymore. Yet, that heavy, soul-deep weariness remained intact. It was still there. Solid, real, but strangely, it didn't feel suffocating anymore. Instead, it brought a peculiar sense of grounding. She turned to look at the old man. He was still sitting there, his newspaper seemingly untouched. He met her gaze and gave a knowing, faint smile as if to say, "You made your choice." Ella didn't speak, just gave him a slight bow. Then she turned, pushed the laundromat door open, and walked out. The rain had stopped some time ago. Clear, cold air smelling of wet earth and plants filled her lungs. The streets were washed clean, the neon lights stretching long, dreamlike reflections on the wet asphalt. She was still tired, her steps were still heavy, but she wasn't afraid of the weight anymore. She accepted this weariness that belonged to her, like accepting a self that was imperfect, but utterly real. She walked toward her apartment, knowing tomorrow would probably still be loud, work would still be demanding, life would still leave new wrinkles. So what? Hey you, have you ever felt crumpled up by life? Have you ever wished for a machine like that? One that could wash away all the frustration and weariness. Remember Ella's choice, and remember the little gift this story wants to give you. If tomorrow is loud again, let yourself fall asleep with a few unfinished wrinkles. That's just the shape of you breathing. You can gently repeat that to yourself. Feel it, like a warm hug. Now let the sound of the rain outside keep you company. Let this quiet wrap around you, slowly slipping into your own peaceful sleep. Good night.